It is time for another set of nightstands. Usually Jason does this for me, but I wanted to see if I could do it myself. Bring these nightstands out of the dungeon. Alright, welcome back to my 20 Nightstand series, and we're on episode 5 already, and today is all about sanding. These tops have a shiny shellac finish just like the other ones, and they're pretty scratched up. So the plan is simple. I want to take the top coat off, smooth everything out, and give the primer a clean surface to stick to. Alright, let's get into sanding and I'll show you exactly how I do it. For sanding, I'm just using a 120 grit on my orbital sander. It's kind of my go-to for this step because it's strong enough to take the shine off the top coat, but it's still controlled enough that I'm not chewing through the surface. If I was planning on staining this, then I would probably resand everything after with a 220 grit, but because it's going to be painted, 120 is perfectly fine. Then we have to clean everything up really well. All that sanding dust will mess with your primer if you leave it there, so I use soapy water and a sponge. I wipe it down, let it fully dry, and then sometimes I have to wipe it down again. What we're going for is a dust-free surface, perfect for the primer to adhere to. Next up, we're going to go in with our primer, and I'm using the grey shellac primer from Zinza, which is honestly my go-to. I either use it in the white or in the grey, depending on what colour I'm going to put on top. For this set, I'm going to go for a darker blue, so I chose the grey. Just helps with coverage and makes the top coat easier. And once the primer is fully dry, I'm going to give it a light sand with a high grit sandpaper, like 600 grit. Nothing too intense, just enough to knock off any texture and make it feel nice and smooth. Then we wipe it clean again and we're ready to paint. So before I went in with paint, Charlie actually helped me tape up a few of the edges. I'm taping right where the drawers slide in so that you get nice clean lines inside. After that, I started painting and I used this folk art craft paint. And I picked it because the color seriously reminded me of Lilo Stitch, and I thought that could be a cute little inspiration for this set. But I'm not gonna lie, this paint really tested my patience. Even after what felt like 10 coats, I still wasn't getting full coverage. I'm sure this is gonna be one of those trust the process moments because, as you can see, this went on so light, the coverage. So I think I'm gonna need like 10 coats. Hopefully I have enough paint. It just kept looking really patchy and I started to get a bit discouraged. So I decided that I would switch gears for a little bit. There was a small section on the bottom that had actually chipped off, so before I did anything else, I fixed that first. I didn't really overthink it, I just put some wood glue on the broken piece, lined it up carefully, and then clamped it down so that it could dry properly. It's a small repair, but if you skip it, it'll keep catching your eye later, so had to sort that out. After that, I decided to paint the inside a lighter blue, still keeping with that Lilo & Stitch colour vibe. And once that dried, I decided to do something a bit more fun. I bought these napkins from Kmart with little sea animals on them, and I cut them all out in different shapes and added them to the sides of the drawers with some Mod Podge. I wanted this set to have a bit of a fun, ocean, mermaid kind of feel. And the napkin print was really easy way to add that theme. Then I decided to put this set aside, and then we went away on holiday for 6 weeks. So these basically sat stacked up the whole time while we were away. When we got back, I came back with a plan. I'd already picked up some sample paint from Bunnings in a similar colour, and I was ready to finally push this set over the line. But of course, the first problem was they had stuck together while they were stacked. So Jason and Charlie helped me pry them apart and get them separated. And then I could actually get set up and start painting again. Before I go on with the paint, I really needed to give this set another clean and a quick reset. They were definitely very dirty from sitting for 6 weeks, and they had chipped in a couple of bits where I tried to pry them apart. So I gave those spots a light sand to smooth everything back out, nothing major. Then I went in with the Bunnings sample paint, and it ended up being a really good colour match to what I was trying to achieve. The best part was, of course, the coverage. I only needed a couple of coats and it finally started looking solid. And honestly, once the color went on, I started to get excited about this pair again. I had definitely lost my enthusiasm after fighting with that first paint, but it was at that moment that I finally felt like this set was coming back to life. After that, I dug through my stash and I found these cute little wooden baubles that I'd bought on Amazon. Before I started, I did a quick count and a rough measure just around the edge. Not for perfect spacing, but more just to see if I actually had enough of these baubles to go the whole way around on both drawers. And once I knew I was good, I started gluing them on with wood glue, one by one around the outside front edge of the piece. And I went back and forth on whether I should paint them or not. But after a quick poll on Instagram, we decided not to paint them. And I also really liked the raw wood look. I felt like it matched my theme really well. And it felt very beachy and cute, so I ended up leaving them unpainted. I also realized that I had missed quite a few spots with the lighter blue, especially on the inside of the legs. So I went back and I touched all of that up just to make it look really flawless and more finished. And I also tidied up the inside of the drawer area too. Sometimes I paint inside the drawer, sometimes I don't, depending on what state the drawer is in and what mood I'm in. But it does make the whole piece feel quite neat and everything inside look clean and intentional. Now, once all of that was done, it was time to drill holes for the hardware. I ordered these really cute shell pools from Kmart. They were really cheap, they're only like $6 a set, and they fit the ocean theme perfectly. So I lined them up, I drilled the holes, and I attached them. The last thing I needed to do before this set was officially finished was line the drawers. And I had this palm tree liner that I had ordered years ago and had been sitting in my stash in the shed forever. So I pulled it out and it actually matched the whole vibe perfectly. It was like it was meant for these side tables. So I measured the base of each drawer, cut the liner to size, and I applied it to the bottom of both drawers. Such a small detail, but it just makes the drawers feel so much more high-end and so nice, and it just brought the whole thing together. So before we go any further, let's go through a quick cost breakdown. Firstly, we had the original cost of the side tables, which were $10 each, so that's $20. Then we had the faux art paint, which was $13, and then we had the sample pot of paint, which was $6.50. We used 4 microfiber rollers at $2.50 each, that's a total of $10, and the drawer pulls that we ended up using were $6. And I've added another $10 for some miscellaneous things, such as sandpaper, glue, and a little bit of primer. So that gives us a grand total of $75. Now, we did lose out a little bit because we had to pay for 2 lots of paint, and I probably won't make a crazy profit on these. But that's okay because we had fun doing them and we've brought a brand new life to these old side tables. Now this set is finally done and I'm honestly so relieved because I nearly gave up on it. The biggest turning point was changing the paint. And the first one just would not have covered it and it completely killed my motivation. But once I switched to the Bunnings sample paint, it actually went on properly and I got excited about this pair again and everything started to come together. The lessons I learned doing this piece is if you're 5 coats in and it's still patchy, don't keep suffering, just switch products. And also, it's okay to pause a set and come back later. It's not failure, it's just real life. And lastly, the theme is in the details. The shell pulls, the baubles, the sea animals, the palm liner. Those little touches are what give it its theme, its Lilo and Stitch beachy vibe. Well, if you enjoyed watching this transformation, hit follow and stick around for the rest of my 20 Nightstand series and tell me what would you like to see in one of these future pieces.